Alrighty, so this is the tutorial for the all fossilizer combiner. Still don't have a good name for him, but honestly, I'm not even sure how to approach this tutorial, to be honest, because there's just so many moving bits and pieces and connecting parts. I'm just kind of looking at him right now, and okay, I think I kind of know. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the arms first, then the legs, and then go over the torso, because the torso is the most complicated one because there's a lot of connecting points. There's going to be bits of pieces and paper flying here and there just because I needed it to strengthen the joints, and so bear with me. So here we go. I'm going to pause it really quick so I can pop off the arm. One sec. Okay, so I am back. This is the right arm, and this is composed of one Master D's body with the tail extended, with the tusk portion plugged in right here to that stalk, that tail, or whatever you want to call it. And the top part over here is the Master D head, the dinosaur head, or the mastodon head, so to speak. In here, you can see that this is a Skelevore foot. And what's unique about this Skelevore foot is that, so one, it's in here, but it's not plugged in anywhere. It's plugged in here to the underside of Master D's chin, but here it's actually a bit of a wedge. So you just get this, and this is the only one that's a wedge versus traditionally just plugging in like everywhere else. You just get this, and then you kind of, you hear that? You just force it into that space, and it's not going to come out. So it's wedged in there. And so this is the arm, the left arm, okay? I'm going to pause again so I can bring the right arm. 1 second. Okay, so this is the left arm. And the way this is created is you just take one rack body with the robot head facing down, you get the dino skull, and you just plug it in there like that. And then you get Skelevore's tail, and you get Spindle's tail, and you plug it in, and that's it. Okay? Those parts are going to let me get him in shot. Oh, he's not standing straight. Well, it doesn't matter. We're going to take him apart anyway. So that little port is going to plug in right here. And right here, that little hole in the Master D face is what's going to plug in right there. Okay? All right, I'm going to... Well, you know what? Let me just take off the top crest first so you can see a little bit more. Okay. So this is the crest, and this is made using one wing finger body, right? Top torso, bottom torso, with the buckler from Skelevore plugged in. And you're going to be taking that peg, and you're going to be plugging them in here into the two small rack legs that I'm going to show you in just a little bit, okay? Okay, well, just refocus on this guy. I'm going to show you that later. What I'm going to show you right now is the way the legs are created and how they are connected. So first, it's really cool, right? That he has these cool little like belt-looking things, and where they are connected to. This one is connected to the inside of the leg, and this one is connected to the inside of this leg. So this has 2 points of connection. It's connected right here into the spindle dinosaur torso. It's also connected back here. You can't see, but it's into the wing finger thigh. So, you know what? I'm going to have to do a close-up so you can kind of see. So I'm going to remove it right there. You saw that, right? And the second one is back there. You see it. Yeah, so it's connected there and it's connected there, okay? I'm going to show you how to make this like later, but I'm just going to put this to the side. Now, each of the legs are identical. Each of the legs are identical. This is a good focal point, yeah. Each of the legs are identical, and so I'm just going to show you how to make one, okay? So the top part, the part that connects into the waist, is the thighs of the Paleotrex figure, or in this case, transmutate. And it's going to be kind of angled like this because you're going to have one foot plugged into the inner side of the thigh, because that's going to come out and, hold on for a second, I got to fart. All right, cool. So you're like, why did you just say that? He could have just done it. I mean, like, hey, we're just chilling, and it's not like you're going to smell the fart from the other side of the camera, right? And, well, anyway, so, yo, it's rank, dude, what I eat today. So over here is, like I said, it's that claw, it's that foot, and that's going to do that. See how there's that empty space? It's going to basically, boom. Yeah. And then you can see this is plugged in to the blade. That blade has another thighs sandwiching it. That's going to come down, and that's going to plug into the frilly bit. That frilly bit is going to be hugged by the vertebrake or Dracodon figure. And then that frilly bit is going to plug into the dinosaur head. The dinosaur head is then going to plug in to one of the calves of the Paleotrex. Back here, this is the Master D leg, the one that has a peg going up and the one that has a peg going sideways. It's going to plug in right here, and then it's going to go up, plugged into the small Master D leg appendage. That goes up, and then that's going to plug into that little peg that protrudes from the axe bit. So one connection here that leads all the way down, that ultimately ends up connecting it here. And there's a hole on the outside of the little Master D appendage, and that's where you plug in the buckler. And there's a hole, again, on the outside of the Master D leg. I really like the Master Dominus legs. And you can connect the larger Master D leg over here. And this is all to create like a good base for the leg. Yeah. Cool. So you're going to see me start peeling this part off. Oh, and then on the outside, you're going to have one more of the transmutate like Paleotrex claws basically plugged in to fill this out. And you're also going to thread that axe bit with the face. Okay? You guys see all of this, right? So I'm going to unplug this here. Right? You see all of that, right? You see all of that. And then you see, oh, and this calf part is plugging into that little hollow bit underneath. Again, just stabilizers. And if you see me remove this, yeah, you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, that face is like that. Oh, on the outside, you have the tail, of course. You have that tail. So you have the vertebrake basically like in the dinosaur mode, or the Dracodon, so to speak, and you just flip the legs over, and then he's going to grip this thing right here. And again, this is the technique that I learned while making the all Predacon fossilizer. And then you can keep vertebrake's tail there. Excuse me. You just plug that in like that. Okay. So we can take a look at, once again, one more fully formulated leg. Pop that off on the side, and then pop that off from the back. I'm all holding my breath. I mean, not because I farted, but it's like, it's tense. There's so many like bits and parts and stuff, and whoo, look at that thing over there. Okay, one more time. The thighs, the claw, coming down, plugged into the axe. Axe hugged by the thighs. Thighs plugged into the frilly part of the tail. Frilly part of the tail gripped by vertebrake. Tail plugged into the dinosaur skull. Dinosaur skull pulled back. Calf plugged in. Master D small leg plugged in, extended up, smallest appendage. And on the outside, buckler. Outside right here, the larger leg, and then tail. Cool. Okay, I can remove the tail. The tail is just composed of the hip connector for Tricranius, connected to Skelevor's leg, connected to wing fingers, dino torso, or not dino torso, dino face, spindles, buckler, and then you have the spindle face plugged into the hollow little hole right there. Okay, this is tail. Okay. All right, I guess the easy part is right here is just the spindle torso. And you can kind of remove that. Well, here, let me try to explain it. Spindle torso plugged into the Tricranius torso. Trying to, because look, there's so many things. Because, all right, the Skelevor skull is plugged into the Skelevor blade. You can't even see in there. Man, how do I do this? All right. Trying to, okay. So what you do is first you get this rack hip covering, right? Then you plug in the rack hip connector. And on the back, you need to plug in the rack leg, like so. Because that is going to ultimately connect into something else. But just know that that's the starting piece. And then you take this big Tricranius leg, just have it plugged in here, fold it up, and there's a peg that protrudes, and you just plug in the smaller one. You put a tail over here, and then the crest is going to plug in here later. And now this core piece, oh my gosh. So he's just falling apart right now. Because see, you take one bit off and he starts coming apart because, you know, there are so many like interlocking pieces before, you know. Now what's going to happen is, see, that peg goes in here, right? And then what happens is, oh, he's falling apart. Hold up. Okay. See, look. Yeah, I can show you on this side. It's the rack hip covering plugged into the small rack hip. This is plugged in right over here, and this is going to angle down, and that's going to plug into this thing over there. Okay. Here, let me. Can I? Oh, gosh. It's hard to explain. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to explain. Okay, I'm going to show you this back because I need to remove this part to show you. This is the Skelevor dinosaur face, right? The torso. It is plugged into the blade inside right there, right? And right now, it has the 2 feet plugged into the side of it, and the heels are plugged into the small rack feet. The small rack feet are plugged into the forearm of Wingfinger, which is plugged into the blade, which is then plugged into this thing, which is then plugged into the large rack foot over here. Okay, I'm just going to peel this part off first. Okay. So here. If I take this one off, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna regret it because it's all gonna just kind of come loose. Okay, hold on, gang. All right, for better or for worse, we're gonna try it this way. The Tricranius head has two plugs. It has the one plug that protrudes from like inside of the mouth, and there's the part that connects to the dinosaur torso. The part that protrudes from the mouth is plugged downward into this cavity. The part that protrudes back, the neck part, is plugged into the purple axe bit over here, and I'm going to show you right now. So see how I just removed that head and it starts becoming loose? Okay. I think this is the right way to show it. Oh my gosh, dude, it has RoboCop vibes when he's just all like taken apart and he's a torso. Yeah, definitely shades of RoboCop. Okay. So look, this is the inner spine. The head, that peg is going to plug into the body. But for now, you can see that back neck is plugged into the axe. The axe bit has two pegs that protrude over here, and you're going to plug these into the forearms of Wingfinger like that and have the fists going backward because you need to plug these things in there. You're going to bring these down from those pegs that plug in. These are the thighs of Wingfinger because these will adhere to, where is it? That hole is going to plug into that peg once everything is attached like that. I'm going to see if I can show you later. But, so okay, yeah, so that's critically important. The head, the neck, plugged into the blade, and the blade comes down and it's plugged into the face. The dino face is facing the same direction as the combiner face. Yeah, and so you need the hands to be facing backward like that because they are going to plug in to the heel of the small rack foot. Does this make sense? Sorry, gang. I know I'm not doing a good job, but this is really complicated to kind of like explain. If you were here, you know, in my office, being subjected to my smelly fart, you would, I'd be able to explain it much clearer, but yeah, okay. So these fists, like I said, are angled backward, and you're plugging the rack foot in there. You angle the small rack foot down, plug that into the claw, and then you are plugging that into here. So I'm going to, okay. But at the same time, this rack foot, there's a hole behind it, and you are plugging this thing in there, the frilly part, the adjacent side of that peg. And that goes in there, and then it's coming up, and it's being plugged into the spindle calf, Wingfinger foot, and spear over here. So, yeah, let me just explain a little bit more. And then the bottom part of the frilly tail, you are plugging in the spindle hand, and the spindle hand is plugging into this, the rack hip connector, which is plugged into this bit, the frill, the spine of the Spinosaurus, which is then plugged into the backside of the dinosaur face. So once I undo these, once I detach them from the small rack leg, you will see. Okay, that just came apart. Yeah. Saw that, right? It's like that. Like that. Then you remove that. Then you remove that. Now you can have a better look. Okay? Maybe you'll need to play this video backwards, but yeah. So from there, if you want to redo it again, blade, Paleotrex face or Skelevore face, claws, rack foot, small rack foot, heels, plugged into the fists of Wingfinger. And that fist basically is plugged in here, the neck of the blade, and then you hang those thighs down. And so one more time, if this is plugged back here, this is going to be plugged up here. And yeah, you'll be able to figure it out. I think if you pause the video and you're just looking at it, you'll be able to figure it out. But that's it. And I cannot put them back together again. If I did, it'll be like another 20 minutes and we will all be aggravated. But when you start assembling this thing together, this is going to be up here. Oops. Yeah, that's going to be up there. And that thing is going to plug in. It's all coming apart, dude. That thing's going to plug in basically right there. Yeah. And that's it. Sorry, gang. This is the best I could do. If you have actually followed this much, and you know, if you follow through, hopefully you're able to figure it out, and hopefully you're able to enjoy this video despite my fumbling and not being able to really explain it too much. Cool. Thanks for watching, gang. Take care. Bye.